Hey everyone, Happy New Year. This is the Cornish Baker of CornishBaker.com. I've had several requests about putting up a mini video about my homemade lasagna. This is quite a shortened version. It's very easy, very delicious to make. Let's get on with it. Right, well, in the pan I've literally heated a tablespoon of olive oil, one large onion, finely sort of diced. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just diced up. Add that in and cook for a little bit, let it sweat, and then when it becomes soft, add in your ground minced beef. You can use minced lamb, minced turkey, minced pork, but I prefer the traditional minced beef for the lasagna dish. And then once that is all acquainted with one another, add your salt and pepper to taste, and then you want to add 4 large cloves of garlic finely chopped. Add that to the mix and let that cook through just for a couple of minutes. And then basically we're going to add the dry ingredients. So over here I've got, it's basically to taste, but I like quite a bit of it. So I've added a tablespoon of each. So a tablespoon of basil, a tablespoon of oregano. I've put in 1 heaped teaspoon of thyme, and then I've also got in there a tiny bit of rosemary. And basically just sprinkle that in the pot, in your pan, give that a good old mix through. And once that is mixed thoroughly into the rest of the ingredients, you want to add in your puree, tomato puree. Now some people are going to raise their eyebrows at this, but I like to use half a tube in my lasagna dish. It just adds better flavour. And then just mix that in. Mix it all around. Now at this sort of stage it looks a bit of a mush, doesn't look very appetising at all, but trust me, once we build up all those flavours into this pan, it will be absolutely delicious. This, I don't add mushrooms, I don't add peppers, it's literally just the traditional Italian lasagna. When I had it out in Sorrento and Capri and Amalfi, that's all it is basically. Some places in Italy they put boiled eggs, slice them up and mix in with it. No, that's not for me. Each to their own. But it's literally just your standard lasagna. Now in here, a tin of chopped tomatoes. You can chop your own, which is what I usually prefer if I've got people over, but if you want just a quick tea, this is a lot quicker for you. Just grab a tin of tomatoes chopped. You can add plum if you wish and get that all mixed in. Now for the best part, I'm going to add a cup of red wine. This is just Rioja. Add that into the mix. Now when I'm cooking with wine, literally white or red, obviously I'm using red for lasagna. I always say use the quality that you would actually want to drink yourself. It doesn't have to be an expensive bottle. Just literally, you can get some really decent wines for cooking for literally £5 a bottle. Okay. Just let that get acquainted with one another. And you want to cook this for probably about 3 to 5 minutes on medium heat at the moment. And then when it's ready, I'll be right back. Okay everyone, it smells absolutely gorgeous. Now, once that is all mixed in, and also what I was meant to say to you just now is that you do not have to add a glass of red wine to this dish, but trust me, if you do, It just brings out that deeper flavour. Next, add a jar of good quality bolognese to the pan. And just get that acquainted in the dish. Just mix that all in. And then also what I've added is another tablespoon of dry basil and another tablespoon of oregano, and just a little bit more salt and pepper. Just as you go along, just taste your food. Just make sure you've got enough salt and pepper and the dry mixed herbs that you like. Okay, let that sit for a little bit. Oh, I almost forgot. What I like to put in as well is a little bit of soya sauce. Into the mix, and again it just adds that nice flavour. Okay, and what I've got on here on this pan is basically 7 tablespoons of butter, and then to that I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of plain flour. Please don't go out and buy white jars of lasagna sauce. It's a total waste of money. And just what you're doing is you're creating a roux. So I'm doing this one-handed. And I just want to mix that in and cook it into the flour. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slowly add, this is really easy to make, and it's cheaper than buying all those jars. And you're going to slowly add your milk. Now I've got 1.5 pints here of semi-skimmed. And just literally whisking that in. Try and get rid of all those lumps. And it does take a little bit of patience, but trust me, once it's done, you'll be doing it every single time. Work up that speed. And then you want to add some more milk. You just add a little bit at a time. Now you can use whole milk for this. You can use skimmed, but I'm using semi-skimmed because that is basically what I had in the fridge. It does not matter what milk you use for this. This is a French sauce. It's a bechamel. And it's a great sauce because it's basically the mother of all sauces. It's the basis of your macaroni cheese as well. Obviously this one, lasagna. It's getting nice and smooth. So we're literally going to pour in the rest of the milk. And you just want to keep whisking. Just stir the lasagna bolognese mix. A lovely deep dark colour, great texture. It's just nothing fancy, it's just wholesome family meal, and great taste. And just keep stirring the bechamel sauce. Now, the most key ingredient is 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. You literally just need a tiny bit. That's all you need. And just stir that in, and that's what gives it the flavour. Now you want this on low heat, by the way, on just a low heat. Bring it up to a medium, keeping an eye on it all the time. And it will start to thicken. So keep whisking. And when it's thickened, we'll take it off the heat. Okay everyone, this is thickened up really lovely. You can see it's starting to thicken up. And you basically towel when it's ready, just get a large spoon and dip it in, and if it coats the back and slowly runs off the back of the spoon, then you know that this is going to be ready. And this is ready, so I can now take this off the heat. I'm just gonna sit it over here for a minute. Stir occasionally now and then, just to prevent it from getting a skin. If it does get a skin, it's no worries. Just give it a good whisk and it'll be fine. But that is lovely and smooth, no lumps, and it's going to taste far better than any jar bought in a supermarket, I can assure you. Okay, bolognese is ready. Now we're going to start layering the lasagna. Okay everyone, so the next step, I've got a lasagna dish. I've put it on a tray because sometimes in the oven when cooking it can just go over just a tiny bit. At the bottom I've got the bechamel sauce, just a tiny bit, and then I've got 2 dry lasagna sheets. Keeping it easy tonight, I'm not making my own and rolling it through the machine. 2 of those. 1 each side, and then literally you're then going to layer up on top with a little bit of that bolognese. So I'm doing this one-handed. There we go, and just make sure that's covered in the corners. And then on top of that again, you're going to have another dry, gently pressed down, and then another dry here. And literally this sauce is smelling absolutely stunning. That red wine in it just makes all the difference. I'm just going to push it to the corners again. And you're just layering up. It's really simple. What I like to also do, just move that on, is I like to alternate. So I like to pour a little bit of bechamel in. A tiny bit because I want some for the top, and just move it around. And then go in just a little bit more on top. And you're going to press down just a little bit, mind you don't burn yourself, with some more sheets. Literally make sure that's even, make sure it's all covered. That's all that will fit in my lasagna dish. I did have a lot bigger, one that would fit 5, 6 layers at a push, but this one can only do 3. But just keep going until you get to like a slight rim along the top, and then you're literally going to pour in the rest of that bechamel sauce. And just layer it off. Perfect. And then what I like to do is I like to let this sit for a little bit, maybe an hour even, and just make sure that it just allows everything to soften up, especially with the lasagna sheets. Lets everything settle, all the flavours come together, and then basically I'm going to put on top grated cheese, a sprinkle of basil, and then pop it in the oven, 180, centre shelf, for 45 minutes. And when it's cooked, we'll see the end results.